And here we have the normal delay, 10 minutes to a quarter. So we should expect to have results from the closed room through the whole match. Our match is played on BBO, which is the Videograph Theatre on Bali.
I heard this morning that they have the BBO broadcast, including the voice commentary going in the press room in Bali. Someone was complaining they couldn't hear what we were saying, and I explained that was because the match hadn't started, so we weren't saying anything yet. Well, here we go. We've got one of the two senior pairs in this room, and I'm pretty sure that Sally Brock and Nicholas Smith will be at the other table. May I wish the England team the very best of luck. Also, I'd say it's going to be disappointing if there are more spectators watching an absolutely meaningless set in the Bermuda Bowl when they've got this wonderfully exciting Venice Cup final here. So I hope we get a good number of spectators showing respect for the women's game.
And I don't hate you, but I'm asked to go to the closed room, so I have to leave you. So no supporter for the US team here.
Oh, well, maybe I'll try and modify my very, very strong bias. The margin is shown as 8 imps, but I think one way or another there's an extra 0.3 imps in there because you're allowed to carry forward some fraction of the score that arose in the round robin when you played your current opposition. And sometimes that makes a difference to the opponents that the top 3 teams choose. They're allowed to choose from the teams who finish in position 5 to 8. In fact, in the quarterfinals, England only qualified in 8th position. That's a tradition of theirs to play moderately early on and then come charging through when the knockouts start. And USA-1 did choose England, and they lost by a pretty big margin. England also smashed China in the semi-final. So I was hoping they could carry on the good work here, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. But we can just hope for it.
I was just going to interject very briefly before the next board. Notice that declarer played the king of spades first, in case it's queen 10 fourth on either side. If it's queen 10 fourth on with east, playing ace then up to the king unavoidably loses 2 trump tricks. But if it's queen 10 fourth on the west side, playing up to the king allows finessing the 10 by running the 9 later for only 1 trump loser. So although it might be normal for some people to play ace and up to the king jack, that's not the right play.
Yes, indeed. That's one of the most publicized safety plays. Look at any book on card play. If there's a chapter on safety plays, I can guarantee that'll be on one of the first 2 pages. Just short of game values on the east-west hand, we've been talking quite a bit about responding to a strong no-trump. And the general rule for a responder is that if you've got 9 points Don't hang around and ask if partner's got a minimum 15, even though she's much more likely to have 15 than 17, in fact twice as likely, which is a bit surprising. The odds favour blasting into game. Same if you've got 8 points and a 5-card suit. And here, although it's conceivable there might be a game on, West is surely not going to try for it, because her 7 points only include a doubleton queen that may be useless and is in fact useless.
We can see that this will in fact fetch, but a very fortunate trump position, and noting that the 8 of hearts is pulling full weight again. This is not a non-vulnerable game I'd like to be in.
When the ace of hearts drops the 9 or the 10, by restricted choice, it's twice as likely that South's remaining card will be the queen rather than the remaining card in the 9-10 pair. So the odds favour laying down the king rather than going to dummy if you can and running the 10, hoping to pin the other lower card. On this occasion, well, the odds are only 2 to 1 against it, so it's not that surprising. South does have 10-9 doubleton.
Good point, David. So that actually, if there's a low card played by on the first round, then you'd try to play to pin. Well, I don't know. On this layout, yeah, so it seems like you're never really going to get it right, I think, because as you say, North is more likely to have Queen 10 third or Queen 9 third.
Well, if low cards come, you've got no option. You have to play to drop the queen.
Right.
Tap-in commentators are getting a bit worried that Senior has spent so long choosing her opening bid, and they're wondering if there's been some breakdown. The communications have generally been very good. Yuan and I were commentating on a Bermuda Bowl session yesterday where we lost boards 2, 3, 4, but in fact they were absolutely flat games, and the boards 1 and 5, which we were able to see despite the double breakdown in communications, were very interesting indeed. One of them, board 5, featured a grand slam that could go down on a light and a double, and the light and a double was made at one table and they duly fled to 7 no trumps, which couldn't be made. At the other table there was no light and a double, and amazingly I think it was the Italian South found the lead that would beat the Grand Slam, and nobody could quite understand how he'd managed to do it. So we're expecting the bidding to start 1 no trump from East, 2 diamonds transfer from West, and now there are 2 possible meanings of a double by North, at least 2. One of them is that you've got good values in diamonds, the suit that's been bid artificially. The other, which is very, very popular against a weak no trump, which East-West are not playing, is that the double shows a strong hand and shows that you would have doubled 1 no trump, so it has no association with the diamond suit whatsoever. It's just part of the mechanism to make sure that North-South can reach a game if they happen to have them, and that is much more common when the opening bid is a weak no trump than a strong no trump.
I can think of a third, although it's probably not used so much, as a take out of hearts. nice and early, before East-West have shown the level of their fit.
Well, another possibility for that is to bid 2 hearts as a takeout of hearts, because can't be natural when West has indicated at least 5 hearts. So you can bid 2 hearts to tell your partner that you'd like her to compete in one of the other 3 suits. So they didn't think we had enough drama here in this final with just 7 ints left and gold medals at stake. They think they'll make it a little bit, bring us to the edge of our seats a little bit more by getting the communications screwed up and a big delay that no one can understand. I expect they know what's happening over in Bali. Some guy with a big pair of pliers rushing into the room, saying, where do you want me to put my pliers?
While we wait, I'll just mention for the audience the general systems East-West and North-South use. Both are playing a 2/1 game force with 5-card majors and a strong no trump. So standard bidding. East-West play one club that is either clubs or balanced, which is gaining popularity, especially in Europe. And their one diamond is always unbalanced.
Queen of clubs, Ace of clubs, and club to a 10. I know it's lost, but as long as it's lost by the player with 3 hearts, you're home. If you try to take out Ace King of Hearts first, then you have no entry for the club suit. So with the actual layout There are no defense against 4 heart, but the Claire has to decide, and she has more than one way to play the contract.
Yeah, it's an interesting hand. I think the best, after thinking about it, I think she sort of has to play the Queen of Clubs here, even though it sort of looks like it's losing. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's the best chance. And then cash the Ace of Hearts. And then what she does next is an interesting decision.
That was the first step, and that was quite obvious. But for sure she's not sure how to play the card. The Jack of Clubs could easily be from King Jack 9. If that's the case, and the Queen of Hearts is second, then she has to play 3 times heart and dog a club. And as I see, the 2 options are very close.
So that I think was clear. The cash and Ace of Hearts. Now is the interesting decision point.
And this was a very close decision. With the Queen of Hearts second, she had made the contract now.
Yeah, nothing was clear. But now I think there's no way home now, because she can't avoid a club loser and draw trumps finishing in the East hand. She can't do everything now. In the other room, Dondi is now declaring 3 hearts, so I think she'll make that contract. And we think we're picking up 1 imp on the first board. That will be another 5 imps probably, and this will be extremely close then with just 14 to play. simplest now is actually to duck this and claim one down. There's no layout where she can make this. I suppose if North had led from King Jack X and South actually had 9 double, then she needs to play the ace and drop the 10 under it. That doesn't seem like it's possible.
I'm sure there's also a causation link in there somewhere. So despite the queens and jacks, this is still a fairly normal one-note trumps.
East has the option of bidding 3 clubs natural and forcing in most systems, but she will only do that if she thinks that it may make sense to play in 5 of a minor rather than 3 no trumps, and that, as we know, is a much more difficult target. If she does bid 3 clubs, then Dondi will either bid a very speedy 3 no trumps, or yeah, she wouldn't want to bid 3 diamonds because that would show some doubt as to which contract should be played in, and with her aceless hand and a very, very borderline 1 no trump opening, if she's playing 15 to 17, she does go straight to 3 no trumps as expected, right? Well done.
Yeah, I think 3 clubs is the percentage bid here, in that West can have hands that make 6 clubs cold, but you're off the first 7 diamond tricks.
And she had 13 prime cards and a singleton against a strong no trump, so that was fine. Against a weak no trump, it would be even more distant. Notice here that it would be bad play to take the spade finesse of the 10 at trick 1, thinking it was some sort of free finesse. You can do that later, and by the time you come to make your decision, you may have dropped a doubleton jack in the south hand. Apart from that, she's running it into a king 8 tennis, so South's going to have to play the 9 or the jack on the first trick to stop the 8 winning.
So we can see that perhaps the winning lead is the Jack of Hearts, trying to find partner suit. But you are looking at an entry, and you're not sure about the hand. If you did choose to lead hearts, the Jack is the one to pick. And curiously, because you're missing so many spots, it's up to the declarer to guess whether to have the stopper in dummy or in your hand. I think the correct play would have been to duck in both hands. Jack, small, small, small.
Is that right? If the jack is from Jack 10, which it would be sort of 90% of the time, the King 9 will be a tennis over the remaining 10, and you're guaranteed 2 tricks.
Yeah, I suppose, especially since, well, it depends on, yeah, I think you have to make a guess, actually. So I take back my previous comment. You have to decide who actually has the heartland, because at some point you're taking the club finesse. So I think one of the specs is saying that covering the king is right, because you'll be taking the club finesse into south. I'm not sure. I'm happy to be corrected.
Well, it's interesting you point out there are 2 lines, but I'm pretty sure it's normal to play low. Otherwise, you might go down, might you not, if south has got the club and the diamond. I mean, there's a huge odds that the 10 of hearts is with north. How often people lead jack?
If they're reading your book, maybe more often. So I'd like to take this chance. So David has written an excellent book recently with I forget who the co-author was, on no trump leads. So some contentious results, and like all advice, take it with a pinch of salt. But like all advice that does generate discussion, there's something to it.
The point of the book was not just to say what I think about opening leads, but to use 2 years of computer simulations to back it up by generating many thousands of hands and seeing which type of opening leads work best. Right, well, I was wondering how West was going to express her values, because normal response would be 2 hearts, but on the other hand she's got 4 card support for a 5 card suit. Absolutely wonderful fit with 4 low diamonds facing a singleton, and East has close to the perfect hand for using some form of blackwood. The only worry is that there might be a club loser. Some people play that 3 hearts is preemptive, but that's not the case here, so we're not quite sure how much 3 hearts shows. They play Bergen raises, so that usually means 3 hearts is preemptive, but still that would then become a bit borderline for East to bid blackwood anyway. Well done.
I suppose that these colors, the West hand has to have some A cover card for a 3 heart bid, especially opposite a 3rd seat opening. So East, thinking that say the Ace of Diamonds or the Ace of Hearts, any of the cards makes land pretty much good on, say, partner has just a doubleton club, or even Queen doubleton, Queen 3rd. They find
Yes, there's not
here after the double. Without that, we see that with the favorable heart break and club break, Declare had 13. Declare will rapidly wrap up 6.
Yes, you wouldn't want to risk bidding a preemptive 3 hearts on a load of rubbish on the West cards when both the North and South had turned up a chance to bid. So I mean, the extra preemptive value would not be that great, and might result in, if that wasn't part of, might result in going down in 3 when you might have made 2, that sort of thing. England will be relieved after their last set, as Liz is pointing out to us. that they'd bid a slam, and just for a change, lo and behold, the slam makes. We are very proud of our England ladies team. They're current European champions. They're current World Bridge Games champions, which is the old Olympiad. And if the gods favour them in this set, and by some miracle they can win it, they'll be current triple gold medalists, and that will be absolutely wonderful. The timing of these championships, I'm talking about the time of day when they're played, is unbelievably hostile for USA kibitzers. Absolutely the worst possible, just about, because I mean people are willing to set their alarm clocks early, which is what we've been doing in England. They're willing to stay up a bit late in the evening if they live a few thousand miles away, but really it doesn't favour them at all. It's more or less centred dead on the middle of the night for them. And that's why we don't have USA commentators here trying to counteract my incredibly biased view of the match. If the bidding starts 1 heart, 2 hearts at the other table, East is still going to want to investigate the chance of a slam, because there are only just 3 holes, in the heart suit, the diamond suit, and the third round of clubs. And for example, conceivably East might make an apparent game try in clubs, and then if partner accepts, saying I've got something helpful there, that would suggest maybe the queen, or maybe a doubleton, or at any rate an upper range hand, and then maybe East would be encouraged to bid 4-no trumps, despite being faced with a single raise. We'll see.
Yes, absolutely. Helps with game try usually asks if partner can keep your losers to 2 in the suit, and demands that they raise the suit if they have 4 pieces, and of course a decent hand.
Another point, it's not relevant on that hand, but incredibly important just for general bidding, is that if it does go 1 heart, 2 hearts, and your partner makes some sort of game try, if you as a responder have 4 trumps rather than 3, then go to game. That extra trump is absolutely huge. To play in a 5-4 fit rather than a 5-3 fit opens up all sorts of different plays, in particular elimination plays, and that 4th trump is worth at least a couple of points.
So East has chosen to make a takeout double here instead of 1 spade balance, despite holding nothing in diamonds. And, well, I suppose they're sufficiently strong, but this would not have been my choice. They know that partner doesn't have a penalty of 1 heart. The opponents are vulnerable, and whatever people's aggression, they don't really cite vulnerable against not opposite a past partner with a 1 heart overcall, especially when you're looking at the ace-queen. Perhaps East is intending to show a stronger sequence, and maybe exactly the shape, 4-3-1-5 or 4-3. It can't be 4-3-2-4.
Right, West has not passed 2 spades, staying at the 2 level. She's gone to 3 clubs, and now I think yeah, well, senior's passed. Of course, she doesn't know that West has got any points at all. So this what have they got? 5 club tricks and 2 aces is 7. Couple of diamonds, looks like they've missed a good game here.
On that subject, my suspicion, as always, I can only give my suspicions on the options, but my inferences would be that because they bid 2 diamonds then 3 clubs instead of a direct 2 clubs, West is showing something. They have something. In the context of the auction, they have, roughly this hand. Because otherwise, without, say, the king jack of diamonds, why are they bidding 2 diamonds instead of just retreating to 2 clubs?
Well, I think that the first is based mainly on length, so if he's had 6 diamonds to the jack, she would not worry about the fact that responding at the minimum length was going to subsequently suggest any points. I don't see why she should do that. If she's got 6 cards in an unbid suit, I think she would bid 2 diamonds, so I don't think the inference that West would have points is necessarily that sound. I mean, she wouldn't want to go straight to clubs if she only had 3 clubs and the opener might only have 4. You don't think it was very likely that there were 4 there? I suppose that may be true.
Yeah, I really think this auction shows 5 because you would rebid 1 no trumps with the balanced hand. But my point is that because they bid diamonds first and then chose 3 clubs over 2 spades, they now show some values, and in particular, roughly this hand.
Perhaps East would have done better to bid 1 no trump, because I mean she doesn't need that much in the way of fillers to make 3 no trumps. But still, I mean, West would often bid. People bid pretty freely on very weak responding hands. Sometimes I've seen them make negative doubles on a 5 count and so on. So quite often, if partner did have 6 points or so, she would find something to bid. It's only the lack of a 4th spade that has stopped her saying something.
A fact is mentioned, of course, that 3 no trumps is not so easy. And I should take back that probably East has judged that 3 clubs as a good place to play. They likely know as much about the auction as we do.
Sort of losing bridge when the reopening double comes for West to go leaping around in case partner has a good hand, because a lot about protection is that you're partly bidding on the opening hand, keeping it going, either in case partner has a stack of hearts, which isn't likely here, or just because the fact that North-South has stopped low, you want to contest the bidding, and therefore you're really bidding West's values for her. So it's not that easy to cover all the different situations, and when West nearly has enough to act on the first round and East has a strong hand, then it becomes a bit tricky. Of course, West knows that East has a good hand because she's following the double with a bid in another suit, which is always a strong action. But still, it's very hard for Dondi to foresee a game when she only has 9-8 in the suit that's been advertised by South. Well, board 19, and trumps is one of the boards that England had hopes for. That's been flattened by the USA. Well done.
And indeed the same lead of a 4th fast spade. Very, very reasonable, very normal. And 9-7-4th is that it's correctly 4th fast, and fast or top, you can look in the suit.
Many of the matches we watch on BBO, they do arrange it so the closed room will start off in advance. There'll be a delay, and sometimes they even take the last two boards, they play them first in the open room, so that by the time they come to hand one, they're bound to have a backup of hands. What's the point of that? It's so when we're watching, we get a score to compare with. Every time it flashes up, we can not only try and guess what will happen on the cards before us, but we can already see what result happened in the other room. Right, USA have missed that slam that resulted from the 1 heart, 3 a heart auction. So that will put England into the lead.
So this is one of the advantages of the short club, in that just a responder doesn't take you for too much. The worst thing that you find often that happens is you pick up a weak no trump, you happen to open a minor, the partner suddenly goes off to the races. So I suppose I don't see it on the convention card, but perhaps this double is showing less than 4 spades, which is a reasonable treatment over interference opposite a short club.
USA are in 4 hearts on board 21. Well, I see on board 21 the hearts lie incredibly luckily for declarer. Still, oh wow, the diamonds are 5-1, so they can't cash that diamond, but it's not going away anywhere. So, despite an incredible lie of the cards, and they've only got 15 points between them anyway. Looks like oh. Right, sorry. No, my informant was wrong. Funny, because 4 hearts makes some sort of sense on 21. Anyway, it was just old information about 20, yeah. Sorry. What's your view, Yuan, on this bidding if East has a sort of hand where she would want to bid 1 no trump but had nothing special in hearts? Do you think she should for the moment still bid 1 no trump, even with inferior hearts such as Queen third, just to show the hand type?
I've not tested one way or the other, but I've had pretty good success with bidding 1 no trumps without a stop, provided that partner is aware. Because if they have a better hand, they can always ask, do you really have a stop? Because even if the opponent takes 5 or 6 of that suit, you sometimes have enough tricks in 1 no. The problem is when they raise the 3 no trumps, expecting you to have a stop.
The 4th and 5th sets of this match were both one-way traffic. First of all to England, then to an equal extent, even slightly greater, to the USA. Do we like one-way traffic? We do. And it's our turn to get it. So, who knows? Fingers are crossed.
So the 1 diamond here is unbalanced. So not a weak no trump, and so has likely shortness. And when you're holding this many spades, you're ready to hear that partner shortness is in your suit.
Seems that West will just rebid 2 diamonds, And over that, 2 spades is shown as some sort of try, because if you've got a poor hand and partner's shown a poor hand with the long diamonds, you don't really want to contest. I see South's come in to show the other 2 suits. You don't want to contest with your suit, just make sure that you drop the bidding on a potential misfit. So 2 spades is described as mildly constructive on that sequence. West has now made a free bid of 2 diamonds. She didn't have to speak, she could have passed because of the double. So that's even more reason to place West with 6 diamonds. Otherwise, without the double, she might be, say, 4-5 in the reds and have to rebid 2 diamonds because she's not strong enough to reverse. Anyway, very reasonable for Novena Senior to persist with 2 spades. She might expect otherwise that the other side may find a heart fit, for example. Well, Liz is suggesting that 4 spades might possibly make, but although that's true, it's not very likely they would get there, we can see. Just looking at the spades in isolation, that's perfectly okay for a trust. Not only may the trumps break 3-3, but if the queen or doubleton in a 4-2 break, which is quite likely when the trumps are split 4-2, I think it happens about 50% of the time. Wouldn't bet my house on it. Then with just spades on. Eight of clubs, 7-8 of clubs are going to fall if declarer needs that. But that was quite good technique by Myers in general. I'm not saying it's relevant here, but to play that heart to force declarer to decide if she wants to finesse in hearts before she quite knows what's happening in the black suits. Couldn't possibly be giving declarer a chance to take a free finesse when she had no more cards left in the suit, because I'm sure North would have signalled count on the first round of hearts.
I'm a little bit puzzled that declarer didn't ruff a heart back to hand and draw trumps, or attempt to draw trumps.
Yes, on some deals, not saying this one, but if you run into a ruff when you play on the side suit, it's often with a trump trick. But in fact, that's not so likely on this particular trump holding.
Right, I agree, because South has shown both the other suits. It's unlikely they have 4 spades, but it's possible they're I see. And if they were 4-4-4-1, it means that they would be ruffing with a natural club trick. So even if South has 3 clubs, that that makes the spade break favorable. So as always, their play was perfectly fine, and we have to figure it out later.
This is telling us the USA were in 3-no trumps on 21, where the England team were unable, because of the auction, to discover their playing strength. Sure most kibitzers know by now, by clicking the Other Table tab under My Results, you can see not only the scorecard at the other table, but click on any of those boards and see the full diagram below, bottom right, and that then allows you to click a trick at a time through the play, see what the opening lead was, and perhaps fight all the way through to the end and understand what the line of play was that maybe caused a swing.
So although the short club doesn't have the preemptive value of the weak no trump, as many of the constructive games, in that many of your other bids become showing when you don't have the balanced hand.
South has the chance of passing this out and collecting a bundle of 50s. She's got to work out, is there a chance of game? I expect she's going to pass on that hand because she doesn't hold any aces outside the club suit. Might be a game. Partner's got enough in terms of controls to... Well, you think she's going to bid you?
No trumps? Absolutely. I mean, you usually know here. I can't imagine passing this out. Partner can have a good hand in context. I mean, East did pass one club.
Yes, but the stronger you are, the less points there are for North and South. Yes, I mean, it's only the possession reason that's with a shout here. But even so, you should.
Oh, I'm wrong.
Well, you've got.
I think
You've got four top losers, and they can set up an extra heart trick, can't they?
I think it's selling out.
Well, the other thing is you don't know the clubs are running. Just because West may be short in clubs doesn't mean she definitely is. If you've got a club loser, then you need North to have quite a lot to make 3 no trumps.
Right, but you can double then rebid 1 no trumps to show quite a good hand. Roughly this hand. You certainly expect to make 1 no trumps. And it doesn't give up on 3.
Well, a preemptive 1 no trump doesn't show that giant, does it? A protective 1 no trump doesn't show such a hand. You're not going to reach game ever.
Doubling then bidding 1 no trump to show approximately a strong no trump or better.
Yes, I see. Yeah, that's right. Well, that's the alternative approach, yeah.
And
In fact, with a count.
Or a bit of spade.
Well, you might get to game that sequence because North count, although very is.
I just don't think there's much downside because, 1 or 0, well, you take your lumps. And the 10 of clubs gives you some vigorish. If partner has a thing with a 9, for instance, you can still cater to a 5-0 break.
I'm just looking at the bidding on board 21, where the USA have a deserved swing for reaching 1 no trump. It began the same as here, a club, a heart, pass, double, pass 2 diamonds. Now the US East, having found next to the diamonds, rebid 2 no trumps rather than 2 spades. And I think that may be a better rebid. On the present cards, it enabled West on her 6 count to go to game, and it was duly made with an overtrick, so that's a well-deserved swing to the USA on board 21.
I don't know if it's tiredness, but I definitely noticed I'm a little bit more critical in the second set than I am in the first set these days. But I thought, so at the time I thought 3 no trumps was pretty clear. And indeed, in all of the other 5 tables, in the Bermuda Bowl, the Venice Cup, and the Dorsey, they're in 3 no trumps, making 4.
The scores are neck and neck, and if it ends in a tie, England will in fact win because they have got 0.3 imps from the carryover. I think they carried over 4.3, and their actual score is 207.3. So we don't really want it to be decided on a tie. Indeed, any sort of margin of less than about 5 imps is exciting, yeah, but sad in a way because it means that it was really a bit down to luck who was going to win. But there have been many famous finals in the past that has happened to. There have been other finals that were lost because players had a fine for their mobile phone, that sort of thing. So that's all part of the game, and we've got many boards to come. May end up not being close at all, just like the previous 2 sets, which were runaway scores for one side and then to the other side.
Of course, the gain of not being in 3-0 trumps on this board is getting a plus score. In the Bermuda Bowl, both sides are in 3-0, both sides down 1 for push.
So again, that has the potential to be a small gain to the USA, maybe 5 imps or so. The seniors final, I'm told there's USA lead Germany by 1, and the transnational final is a dead tie. And here we have a gap of 3 imps, so at last we've got some close matches after the slightly disappointing semi-finals and indeed the main Bermuda Bowl final. Not that we want one spectator to leave this great match. Go and watch one of the other ones. It's always a sort of beginner's mistake if one of the commentators mentions another match might be more exciting and they lose any precious kibitzers.
I, of course, made this error in one of my more novice days a few days ago, and David kindly pointed it out. And as we've seen before, David was mentioning in the previous set, how often do people fit Damon with 4-3-3, and at the expert level, none is the correct answer. On this hand, we see that although 4 hearts has the benefit of low doubles and diamond up to ace third, 4 spades, the rest of the hand doesn't make it particularly friendly either, and that you might have better chances than 3-no trumps if they don't need a diamond.
Now, you remember, Yuan, this very morning we were discussing the fact that my book on opening leads points out the merits of leading the king from king, queen, fourth. Here we see layout where it's going to pay off because it will drop the doubles and jack, and that will give the defenders 3s.
What about the king from queen third?
Yeah, well, then
obviously
it's
not a hand because West is marked with other high card rates.
Oh, I see. Well, if you're going to lead the suit, obviously you lead an honor right. So there we are. Dundee's found that lead. Is she going to benefit as a result? What have they got? 4 spades, 3 aces is 7, and the hearts don't lie well. Clubs are split. Let's see. What do you reckon, Yuan? Is this going to make now?
Well, on this switch.
Yikes. Yes, I see. Oh, well, there you go.
I think if you do continue, you continue high.
See, with standard signaling, when the king is led and the ace is in the dummy, East must try to give some indication as to whether she's got the jack, and that would be done with an attitude signal, either a high card if you play standard attitude or low for reverse attitude. So standard English methods would be to lead the king for count and the ace or queen for attitude. Now it's a tricky situation for Senior because she knows, she can guess that the length in her hand means that the jack is going to drop from declarer. But of course if she encourages, that may give the impression of jack third and allow declarer to continue with a card. So it just proves to us that you cannot cover all combinations, and it's incredibly difficult. You just have to arrange your signaling methods according to what you think will pay off most often.
Yeah, so the low lead from 4 pays off only to Jack Doubleton in partner's hand, Jack 3, in fact, in which case this suit doesn't really have that much future anyway. So I think it's a case of the king being the right play, which caters to Jack third, in which case the suit breaks 3-3, and also to the actual holding, in which case you crush declarer's jack. So I think it's just a bad continuation, although possibly a normal one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm with you that that may not have been right. I mean, they must know what signals they play, and if queen is for attitude, then whatever he thinks may be dropping from declarer's hand, she wouldn't signal encouragement without the jack.
It seems that on their card it says that they play count on as primary signaling on lead, but you'd be right that it's not clear to me if they play ace queen attitude, king count, any normal in England. If so, then 3 would be an upside down attitude signal.
Well, Liz McGowan is saying the queen does ask for attitude. So you say they play upside down, and what, East played the 3, which was an encouraging card, was it?
Yes, they play high discouraging and high odd.
Well, I'm surprised that situation hasn't arisen. That's a pretty familiar card holding, isn't it? Ace third opposite Jack Doubleton, trying to do well there. And they did half of it by leading the honour, but then undid the good work at trick 2. Of course, you don't.
I know this because I think all of us have run into this position, and I remember getting this wrong at least twice so far, and I'm sure that's going to go up, but people of this caliber are aware of this situation. It should be totally normal for them to get it right, I think. So.
Well, the point is you just can't get it right all the time, because say East had denied the jack with an attitude signal, then West would have no count on the suit and would not know that the jack was falling. So there just simply aren't, there's not enough space with signalling. You can either play attitude or count, and you need to do both here. You can partly get around it at a higher level. When they're leading from a good suit, the king lead asks for an unblock if you've got the jack, or failing that, a count signal. So you do get both signals together there, but you can only afford to lead the king when you've got a good suit, like king, queen, 10, 9 to 5, something like that. And that allows you to discover the attitude by whether or not partner does unblock the jack or occasionally the ace. Failing that, when you see the count signal, you know that partner does not have the jack, but you can try to work out whether the jack is falling from declarer according to the count signal you've been shown.
My point was that it can't be wrong if you choose to continue the suit to play the king.
Yeah, well, that's definitely right, except that here East had given a positive attitude signal, in fact showing the jack as we understand it. And therefore you would then continue with a low card. I think if partner's shown the jack, it would be perverse of you to lead the king in case she didn't have it. She might even have jack doubleton and you'd blow your honours and you could bring in the suit. That would give away. This is a good one for 2-1 because North can just wait for 2-no trumps, which is forcing, and hear about the 5th heart. Then she knows that hearts is a good trump and can make a cue bid if that's what they play with 4 clubs. 4 hearts would then deny a dark control, and now North has rolled a Roman key card. So basically, once you find out about the 5th heart, you are laughing. The 10 of spades does fall, so you would escape in 6-no trumps. No space here to ask for the trumps which North needs. That's why some people use Livebridge Blackwood, call something like minor wood, where they can use a lower bid. Some people use the bid which is 1 higher than 4 of the trump suit in the majors. So spades, if you use 4 spades as your key card ask, the response would be 1 lower, 5 clubs, and you'd have 5 diamonds available to ask for the queen of trumps. So this is that's method known as kickback Blackwood, and here it would be great because you could find out on how queen of trumps. Right, well, there we go. North had to guess if partner had the queen of trumps, and couldn't really tell. Indeed, it was just possible, was it not, that partner didn't have the ace of trumps. If there was, she's only got 1 key card, so partner's trumps might have been 10 high. Even if you know about the ace-queen to 5, what does that mean? It means that you've only got 1 top loser. It only gives you 5 heart tricks, and the 2 ace-kings is 9. You're then going to lose 1 spade. You need 3 extra tricks. So you would have to either be able to set up some spade tops by 4, so you can do here. To get somehow a lot of roughs, but not likely you'd have the entries to rough a lot of spades. Another good point being made that if you switch to the 1430 method of responding to 4 no trumps, in the common case where there's only one to be shown, the case here where you may want to find out about the Queen of Trumps, there's some benefit on this hand, partly by luck that a 5 club response would have allowed North to have the space to bid 5 diamonds to ask about the Trump Queen. With the actual holds, the time is indeed a very good one because one ruff will bring down the 10 on a 4-2. England have reached 3 no trumps on the hand where the USA South judged very well here. You remember she had ace king queen 10 to 6 clubs and 1 club run round to her. So looks like that's going to go 1 down when the defenders can set up in hearts, and that will be 5 imps back to the USA if that happens. And before us is another massive bidding board, a very, very, very difficult one to be sure, as it's based on a 7-1 fit. Let's see how they cope with it. South has a very good hand, absolutely no reason to start messing around with a no trump rebid. Clear cut reverse to diamonds, and most people play North can follow one of these low reverses with just 1 bid to show a duff hand where she wants to back out in a part score. That's called the blackout bid. Any other bid is going to be forcing to game. In particular, since lateral 2 no trumps is forcing. Now South is thinking of 6 spades, why not? Good spade suit opposite, and she's loads of in addition to the ace queen to some number of spades. South in flats would be an obvious cue bid agreeing spades, but there's not much use to partner, because when you've got the strong hand, all those cards there, what's the point of just showing one of them? I'm more interested when you've got the strong hand in finding out how many of the fewer gaps in your hand can be filled by your partner. In particular here, to discover that partners' spades are headed by the ace-queen. Perhaps when you ask for the queen, partner can also say, I've got the king of clubs as well. You're still not sure about the jack of spades, so the quality of the trump suit may be a problem if they don't slam. In fact, the entry position to the south is not able as it might have been with that void diamond opposite ace king queen. You're not going to have unlimited entries to show up to rough the clubs good. Well, North has jumped to 6 spades, and I do not understand that at all. That suggests she hasn't understood what 4-no trumps means. Does she think perhaps South was too strong to sign off in 3-no trumps and bid 4 to show the extra values? There's really no excuse leaping to 6 and leaving partner in the dark. Mind you, having said that, she is showing one massive spade suit, and I think I would have bid the grand on those South cards. I know you could pass, say, well, nothing much I can do if partner does that, but you're in a big final and you have to judge. Your partner's done that for one reason or another. What are the odds? Dangerous to bid 7, of course. Dangerous to pass 6, though. I need to work out what the odds are. Only 5 boards left at this table, 8 boards left at the other. So if the play proceeds at a similar pace, our objective will be to see these boards through, and then at the speed of light to rush over to the other room, see if we can find a seat to watch the last few boards there. I wonder. That doesn't look very standard to bid 1 heart at vulnerable against not, does it? Do you think North is worried about missing that Grand Slam? Suppose South goes straight to 4 hearts. Is Dundee going to be tempted to go to 4 spades on her minimum? A lot of people play that 1 spade guarantees 5 and you make a negative double on 4. That was the original scheme for negative doubles. South has the option of jumping to 3 diamonds if that shows a fit jump. announcing good heart support and a side suit of diamonds to help partner to judge what to do, say, over possible 4 spades. Well, that's fair enough. She's got 11 points, so she's just cupid one of the opponent's suits. So that's a very unusual unusual form of support double, I suppose, if that's what it shows. Showing some support for partner at a low level. North doesn't like the sound of it, having overcalled on a hand that not many players would at this vulnerability. Signed off, and East is just competing to the 3 level. Right, so basically that's fairly well judged, was it? Although you can imagine, yeah, probably 4 hearts would have gone down. They've got 2 heart losers and a spade. Yeah, oh well, yeah. I mean, looking at it from the long trump hand, North has a lot of spades to do something with, and would have to get rid of that club. So I would say this has been fairly well bid by all concerned. If declarer begins the trump suit by leading low from hand, then Jack King, and you can finesse against the 10, so that works out well. Looks a little bit ugly to cash the ace first anyway. There we go, 5 tricks. 2 diamond roughs, ace of diamonds and 2 clubs. Put this contract down. Wouldn't cost very often, but playing on clubs rather unluckily has led to all those roughing tricks and cost the contract. But Senior had to do something with her heart losers and was trying to set up the clubs to deal with those. German 5 imps up in the senior final, and the transnational final is an exact tie. But we're not going to find any better viewing than the remaining boards of the Venice Cup, I'm sure. So they defended pretty well here, but they could have made 3 hearts, so may still be okay for England. Right, come on Jan, prove to us you're still alive. This is a very worrying silence from one of the most talkative guys on the commentators panel. Okay, Yuan is trying to... oh, you can hear him. Gosh, I can't hear him. Right, well, we expect South to pass over that with a weak no trump type, heart length, nothing much you can do, not even a 4-card suit worth thinking of overcalling. Goes a heart of spade, and that leaves East with a fairly borderline hand halfway between 3 hearts and 2 hearts. Don't know if she's bidding 3, that's fair enough, pretty good suit, and the ace-jack of spades are a fit for the other suit. If you play in hearts, the trump suit lies very well because you can only take 1 finesse, so you can get to dummy, pick up the trump suit, the 1 loser, but you've then got club, diamond and spade losers, yeah, so anyway, I don't think Dotty's got any reason to bid on. 3 spades would be forcing. Yeah,
So
well done.
This is a
That's
very normal track. Am I alive again?
Yeah, you're absolutely fine now, and one Kibitzer said that they could hear you before, but I couldn't certainly, and there was no red line on the screen.
So it looks like North-South follow the very popular US treatment of third and low. One thing that's very important in defensive signaling carding is to have agreements on your leads, whether you like to give count as when discarding or count when leading. The other option is to play attitude, for instance. Certainly against suit contracts, there's a great deal to be said, and I'm only a recent convert that to play third and low to help partners know the count in the particular suit. Against no trumps, attitude is a lot more important.
Right, there's 10 imps to the USA on board 25. They defeated 4 spades, and that is because it was played by the other hand. You remember we saw West found the good lead of the king of diamonds at our table, and then followed it up with a low one, which undid the good work. They were in 4 spades at the other table, and there was a diamond lead from the other hand. So there we go. That's a serious 13 imp difference, which I like to think of as a 1-goal difference at football. In other words, a substantial difference. Even if you conjure a game swing, you'll only just be coming back to par. So these are worrying times for England, despite the fact we've got several boards left.
Mainly as a neutral, although I'm in the UK and I was in the US for a long time. To be honest, I think the statement asked on the 4333, we were talking about it earlier, got what it deserved. They went down with 4 spades because there's no roughing value. 3 no trumps wasn't terribly good either, but at least had some play on a non-diamond lead.
England will be certainly hoping that the slam is bid on 26. If that can be bid, Remember, they stopped in 5 hearts here because their rather expensive method of Blackwood did not allow North to ask for the Queen of Trumps, and she had to decide to stop at the 5 level, in other words, to guess what the situation was. If that slam is bid, then the scores are back to level, and it's anyone's game. If that's not, there are going to be some anxious England faces watching BBO.
So it looks like Declare will be down 1 here, still have safe diamonds to lose. But you could try it with a bad fit, and notice that West didn't run, quotation marks run, because 3 spades would be forcing.
Seems that it might have been made a double dummy by forcing an entry to the table and benefiting from Queen 1 on side, but that was a pretty small chance and there was some risk playing on diamonds. So sometimes the double dummy way of making something is not best at the table, and that seems to be the case on that hand. See that Liz is getting so excited that her typing has gone to pot.
So more possible excitement on this board. We can see another possible grand, but of course it won't be bid, missing the Queen of Diamonds. But a diamond slam is excellent, and the spade slam is, yeah, it's okay.
Pretty good small slam. Certainly you'd expect them to bid that, and that's because both the aces in the shorter suits are faced by singletons, a situation that Yuan has described that he's pretty interested in. 2 long suits and the side suits controlled by shortage.
So one of the first things you learn about what you need for slam, you need tricks, controls, and trumps. I mean, we all know how to bid 1 no trump, 6 no trumps on power, but these suited slams require a little bit more imagination. For instance, on this hand, we see that the Jack of Clubs is you don't need that high card point, you don't need the Queen of Hearts, and so on. The Ace King of Spades gains in value possibly opposite the tricks. And note that 3 diamonds is forcing and 4 diamonds agrees. Certainly 4 diamonds is forcing. In a constructive auction, 4 of a minor is nearly always forcing, and it's probably better played to be always forcing. And North, I mean, you look at this hand and it's good. Partner 4 diamonds really should show good support in diamonds because they have various types of waiting bids available.
Right, well, in the other room, Brock also had problems with key card and had to guess. She has guessed to bid 6 hearts. Wow, well, I'm pleased about that being very biased, and that is going to close us up to a near tie. So, absolutely wonderful.
Well done, England. And here's a good point. If in doubt at the 5 level, you know, suppose you're not so sure, because 5 of a major is such a, well, it's such a parlay. There's so many ways for it to go bad. You might as well, if in doubt, bid 6, because if it's down 2, well, 5 is down 1, and you're just losing a couple more ins. But there's a massive upside. The parlay is that, you know, it only makes 5. North have a key card again, and let's hope it's right this time. I always like having 2 key cards. You can't go wrong, irrespective of what version you play.
So they've got to 6 diamonds, and that seems the better of the 2 slams.
Note that South with 5 diamonds would have shown quotation marks the Queen of Diamonds, although maybe not everyone does that when North may only have 4.
The rebid of 3 diamonds in all standard systems is played as game forcing, and in fact is a pretty rare bid. The better the player is, the less frequently he or she will be rebidding 3 diamonds. It's a sort of beginner's mistake to think, wow, I've got 17, even 18, I better bid 3 diamonds so we don't miss a game. But of course, when it's game forcing and your partner's only promised about 6 points, that might be completely useless to you in the suit for the response. You can't guarantee a game on such hands, and that's why 1 heart, 1 lead, 2 diamonds, it carries an absolutely huge range, and it will usually be a responder who makes the first limit bid for them to decide what level to play at. Notice here that a lot of players would have opened on the south cards. In no way is that suitable to open a weak 2 spades when you've got an ace and a king and a singleton outside. So if you're going to open it, you would have to open 1, and that's a bit risky with 9 points. So you can see that Mars has decided she will not open the hand at all. Now, there are a lot of players who say, I allow no gap between 1 spade and 2 spades. I'm always going to open something for a hand in the gap. I'll choose between the 2. And I quite like that approach. But I can see if ever you are going to pass on a hand with 9 points and 6 spades, it'll be the south one.
So, to continue my novice errors, not that I want anyone to go away, but the Italian pair on board 28 were in 4 hearts doubled on a huge board, making it on a semi-cross rough and setting up the diamond suit. So very impressive. Nice for plus 790. The other table were in 4 spades down 2. So that kind of sums up that particular match.
There are 5 boards behind us in the closed room. We've only got 2 boards left. So the climax of this match is going to come as we switch over after watching this board and one more here. Goodness me, they're giving us a 1-no trump deal. Well, you won't find me complaining. We've had a fantastic entertainment today in both matches, and we've got an incredibly close finish here because the England Slam on 26 is yet to go up onto the scoreboard. So we've been given some wonderful fare here. We'll just watch these last 2 boards here and then go and see as the comparisons come in. And it's likely that this match, where the 2 teams have demonstrated that on the 2 days, they are of equal merit, the winners are going to be decided just as likely by luck as by some flash of skill. And that's as it should be in a close game. That we all know there's a fair amount of luck in bridge. So this board may be a duff one. That's what we're expecting. Maybe there's a final great firework awaiting us on 32. Who knows? But look at the level of the contracts we've had recently. 5-6, 3-3-6. Nothing to complain about there. I'm not one of these people that carries the conversion to imps in head, but I think that Van swing on 26 is worth 13 imps. It'll bring the scores to 220 apiece. No reason whatever to think the scores will still be level at the end. But if they are, England will win it as a result of the 0.3 carryover. And there have been championships by those sort of margins in the past. I think a European championship, the Women's European, if I remember. South goes to lead low from her King Jack 10-3 sequence. That can work well when your partner has something like Ace or Queen Doubleton. And part of the theory behind leading low from that, also from such as Queen Jack 9-3, your list ready partner doesn't have a high card there, so you might as well lead low, so you can benefit when partner does have a high card. Holding up an ace for 2 rounds is a familiar Tino trumps, and you can see here pretty close to 3 no trumps, where it may well be that South have an entry if she doesn't have the ace of hearts, and therefore the hold up is excellent sense even in 1 no trump. Why not? As if you run bundles of tricks if you take an earlier club.
So making the percentage play here and the heart finesse. And a queen.
On to the last board of an absolutely wonderful final. It was 13 imps. The score is 220 all. Is it nearly over? No, it's not, because we've boards to be played at the other table section, and when we go over to we'll have in our memory banks exactly what happened at this table, and indeed the scores will be shown there. It's going to be really, really exciting. So a tough board with no action, and again we're not going to complain because all the equipment we had in the in fact all of the last 3 sets, 4 5s have been very full of big act. So we can watch. Meanwhile, for the very last time, we would like to express our admiration and thanks to the view graph operators who've been absolutely splendid. And it's not only to them but to their coaches who managed to bring them up to such a high for this important championship. Many thanks to BBO for allowing us all to watch it, to enjoy the action for so many days. Some will have been here the full 2 weeks. I was actually on holiday for the first week, but I've enjoyed it immensely since I was watching. Thanks to Yuan, who I never knew before this championship, but who's been a good friend. I've enjoyed commentating with him.
Likewise, David. Thank you so much. Thanks to the specs and the other commentators. And only 2 more years. So on the lead, the quick can see 4 tricks, 2 spades, a club, a diamond, with many chances in every suit. Well, except for spades, even in spades. He doesn't. Probably she doesn't want to start in hearts. It's given the entry position not clear. You want to be touching hearts, although we can see that they can actually take two tricks. It seems normal just to go about trying to set up clubs.
You can see that it wouldn't pay the defenders to be too active in all the suits outside spades. Often happens in one no trump. Both sides have got honours in every suit, and whoever plays the suit first, that may cost them may cost trick. So entirely obvious for Dondi to persist with spades, not only to set up a spade trick in senior's hand, but to avoid doing any damage elsewhere.
We should see the club finesse here, which as always is a safety play. It wins for the suited 3-2. Declare preferred to have lost this trick.
Clara could have set up a long club, had no certain entry to them. Looks like she's trying up nuts. Senior knows enough not to cover the 10 of hearts with the jack, obviously not.
Spec is telling me that consideration may be to not bother setting up a club, but just to play a club to let West open up suits. As you say, you have the Queen 10 of diamonds and the King, and you have the King 10 9 and the Queen hearts. So whatever suit they return will give you an extra trick, or at least take you off a guess.
Yes, indeed. Now she does go for the end play, putting East on lead.
Declare around block the King. Yeah, as one of the recommendating that pitching a diamond seems to be a bad idea. And that presumably East to show some hearts. And you want Declare to go wrong in the diamond suit.
So that concludes the entertainment here. Many thanks for watching. Let's all rush over to the other table and see the conclusion of this wonderful match. And we're all hoping one or other side will win. I suppose there are a few neutrals, pretty obvious who.
Some play that a jump to the 6th level shows 2 key cards and avoid. Other, the jump to the 6th level show an odd number of key cards and avoid. I personally play that it show 2 key cards.
Well, I think that's a poor bid with only 6 by Nicola and away. Partner's pretty much got to have ace queen to 7 and the king of clubs, she's told us. That looks like 13 tricks to me.
I don't think that South should bid 7 spades, that she should give her partner another option. Probably by bidding 6 diamonds or 6 hearts, tell her partner, We have all the key cards you need. I am interested in a client. What's your opinion? Instead of making a universal decision by bidding 6 spades.
Yeah, I don't mind that either, but I don't like 6 spades. I think that's undercooking the hand. You now know partner's got the king of clubs, which is a big card, and you know she's got at least. I mean, she happens to have fewer than ace queen to 7. I think you can count 13 tricks. And partner could have had the jack of spades as well, and how would the bidding have been different, really? Partner must have at least 7 spades to bid 4 spades at a 3-no trump.
6.5. Remember, South had promised a strong balanced hand, so North would expect 2 spades from her partner, so she could bid that on a 6-card suit. But
no,
why make a decision?
That 1-no trump doesn't guarantee a balanced hand. It's the most likely hand is a balanced hand, but it's clear from the notes if you read, it's typically balanced, but it's quite clearly not balanced. And when she bids 3-no trump over 3 spades, or in fact when she bids 3 diamonds over 2 diamonds, I think it's clear she doesn't actually have a balanced hand. And when she bids 3-no trump over 3 spades, it's clear she doesn't have I think it's clear she doesn't have a balanced hand now. Anyway, it's still England with the smallest possible margin of 0.3 of an imp, with just 5 boards to go. So David Bird tells us they've finished in the other room. And here may be an opportunity for the US to take the lead. If they stop in 2 spades, that maybe has a chance. Well, yeah, Nicola Smith does well. Don't let the opponents play in 2 spades if you can possibly help it. And she's got a reasonable enough takeout double. So she's pushing them 1 more, and Levin's already taken the push, so probably the same contract now as in the other room.
Germany gained the on their 7 spades and are now back in lead with 6 imps.
Okay, he's brought switches to a Singleton diamond. South will win the diamond, give a diamond rough, and then with a club to the king, there's another diamond rough, and that'll be the same one down as the other room. Smith's just thinking about the hand. I'm sure she'll win the ace of diamonds, and she'll leave back the 4 of diamonds to make it clear that her entry is in clubs. So it's still England by just a fraction of an inch with 4 to go now.
The play have finished in Bermuda ball, and again we can congratulate the Italians. They won the match with 210 against 124-26. Very well done by Italian, back on top of the world bridge.
Also over is the transnationals, the Gordon team winning by 11 imps over a Chinese team. However, the seniors final is apparently very tight, I'm told. In fact, believe it or not, the margin there is even smaller than the margin here. England lead by 0.3 of an imp. The seniors final is exactly tied. So I'm being asked by spectators what happens if the score stays like this. The bridge base doesn't show it, but England have a 0.3 imp carry forward that's not shown in the running score. It was actually, I think, more than 0.3, but in the event that the bridge base score shows the tied match, assuming it's correct, England will have won the Venice Cup. But here now is an opportunity for the US to take the lead. It looks like two hearts should lose one club, one diamond, one spade, and two hearts at most.
In the open room, the bidding was one heart, one spade, three hearts. So the English ladies wasn't pushed to the 3 level. That 15 high card point and a very good heart suit, I absolutely see nothing wrong in jumping to 3 hearts on the east hand. She was just unlucky to find partner with a hand where she was down 1 in 3 hearts.
So that's 7 imps to the US. They lead by 6.5 effectively. Sorry, I'm not sure what I said then. It's 7 imps to the US. I think I may have said, my brain may have slipped. So not for the first time in this set, North-South can make a grand slam. This time, though, they're missing the Queen of Trumps, so it's not such a good one. I suppose you could play in spades, and no, but then you'd still need to find the queen of diamonds. So this is not as good a grand as the one earlier. Quite a good chance, though, now that North-South will play in 6 spades, which would gain them 2 imps. So clearly Smith thinks spades are trumps, and this is key card in spades, and she's showing 1 key card.
Again, a little bit disappointing. If North had asked with 5 hearts, then she would get the Queen of Spades and the King of Diamond, and would have a chance to beat the lay down.
So it's not lay down, Peter. You need to find the Queen of Diamonds. And North actually sort of knows South can't have the Queen of Diamonds. With the Queen of Spades, the King of Diamonds, and the Ace of Clubs, that's all their points already. They can't really have the Queen of Diamonds as well and open a week 2.
It's technically very correct to take as King of Spades. If the King of Spades is soft, there's still communication to set up the spade suit. If he takes out 2 trumps, then she have no entry to set up the spades. So, technically correct play and making line 40 for a flat board. Before the last three boards, Germany lead USA in the senior ball with 3 imps. Oh, I've just been told that the US seniors missed the slam here on board 30, so the German team are up with 13 imps before the last 2 boards.
This board now we're looking at here, Declarer has already for sure 1 club, 2 diamonds, and a spade. That's already in physical top tricks. You can set up another heart easily, and you can set up another diamond easily. That gets you up to 3 diamonds, a heart, a club, and a spade. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tricks, but still need to set up another trick after that as well. But there's no real danger on the hand. There's nothing the defence can do that's particularly nasty. So I suspect this will make quite probably with an over trick. And so England will need to find something on the last board. Indeed, even if this goes down, England will still be trailing. There's no way it's going down though.
What happened in the closed room was that the Clare, in this position, played the Queen of Hearts. Oh, sorry, played a diamond to finesse, and then the Queen of Hearts.
Declarer has done better here, and so I think this will be an overtrick into the US. And given the score on the last board, I think that could be the end of England's chances, but I guess you never know.
So one imp going into the last board. Let's see if the last board can give us some excitement. If it's a pass score hand, it's not likely.
This very much looks like a pass.
1-0 in closed room by North-South. So to win the Venice Cup, the English ladies...
The only chance for England is if somehow they can get a 500-point penalty out of a contract from East-West. And even that looks very like a real long shot.
Okay, let's see if they can bid and make 3-0. That's 400
enough,
against 120. That's only 7 imps. And 7 imps will mean that they lose with 0.7.
Their only chance was a 500-point penalty, and with East-West passing throughout, that was certainly not going to happen. So congratulations to the USA, the winners of the 2013 Venice Cup, to Italy, the winners of the 2013 Bermuda Bowl, and very likely Germany are going to win the Dorsey Trophy, and Gordon won the Transnational, and that will be the end of our coverage from Bali after this board. Thanks to Bridgebase, to Trian Chia and his team in Bali, and thanks to my fellow commentator Peter Lund.
Oh yes, thank you to you also, Michael, and I look forward to a week where I can have a normal sleeping time, not to have my alarm clock set on scary times in the middle of the night. But it's a bit of fun, and for sure we have seen a lot of good bridge, top level play, top level bidding, and sometimes top level defense, but still on the top level I think it's the point where many of the top players still could improve their game.
Well, that's one of the wonderful things about this game, and why a lot of us love it, is that no matter how much you play, how much you think you're getting better, there's still room for improvement. I'm reminded of the quote from Michael Rosenberg's book. He said something along the lines of, I realised I could win at bridge not because I was any good, but because everyone else was hopeless. And that was meant in the sense that no one's really mastered bridge yet.
And we have, at this table, for the moment, over 3,000 spectators. And that for sure is a lot for a Venice Cup. Very often the Bermuda ball steals all the spectators, but we have seen ladies on top level here with some exciting parts and some difficult decisions, and no one can make all decisions right. Oh, expect Mandala from Italy. He plays like a robot. but else all other are human. And I also thank my 3 friends in the audience who personally have thanked for the commentary. But thank you for watching. See you in some days at another tournament. Bye bye for now.